Hey there! Welcome back to this lesson. Dear students, I hope you are doing great. Well, this lesson is the fourth in the series of the lessons on English grammar topic, the direct and indirect speech. In the previous part, that is part 3, we started studying the steps and rules for the conversion in the sequence that should be followed while changing the direct into indirect speech. And we have discussed the first 3 steps in that lesson. The first one is reporting verb को identify करते हुए उसे आवश्यकतानुसार change करना. The second step is reporting clause, reporting speech और reporting verb के बाद प्रयुक्त होने वाले comma के स्थान पर conjunction word that का use करना. Sometimes it is optional. But in formal writing, we generally use the conjunction word that in case of statements or assertive sentences. And along with this, we remove the speech marks or the quotation marks. Now, the third step that we discussed in the previous lesson is the change of pronouns. So, I suggest that please watch that third part first and then come back to this video. Do you want to know how? Okay, let me tell you. Please go to the description of this video and click on the links given there. और इसका एक दूसरा ऑप्शन भी है. ऊपर दिखाए गए कार्ड पर आप क्लिक कीजिए. Please click on the card shown above. Now let's take up the fourth step. That is change in tenses or backshifting of tenses. Before understanding the rules for changing of the tenses, we must know this fact that the tense in the reported speech changes only when the reporting verb is in the past tense. If the tense of the reporting verb is the present or the future tense, then there will be no change in tenses. In fact, there are 2 cases in which this backshifting of the tense, this rule is not applied. Remember, don't change the tenses of the reported speech if the reporting verb is in the present or future tense. For example, the Prime Minister says the country will import the dairy products. The Prime Minister says. Here, notice this word says. This is in the present tense, so there will be no change in the tense of the reported speech. The second condition is if the words within the quotation marks talk of a universal truth or historical facts or habitual actions. In these cases also, the tenses of the reported speech will not be changed. Have a look on this example. The earth revolves around the sun, said the teacher. The teacher said that the earth revolves around the sun. In these sentences, the universal truth is expressed, although the reporting verb is in the past tense, but we do not change the tense of the reported speech. Dear students, क्या आपने इस sentence में notice किया कि the teacher said this is the reporting clause and it's written at the end of the sentence. So how would you change this? We almost always put that reporting clause at the beginning when we change to indirect speech. So remember this, the backshifting of tenses. Dear students, यदि रिपोर्टिंग वर्ब पास्ट टेंस में एक्सप्रेस की गई है तो रिपोर्टिंग वर्ब में परिवर्तन उनके टेंस में परिवर्तन इस चार्ट के अकॉर्डिंग किया जाएगा. So the present indefinite or present simple tense changes to the past indefinite or past simple tense. The present continuous changes to the past continuous tense. The present perfect tense is changed to the past perfect and the present perfect continuous to the past perfect continuous. So this is the backshifting of tenses. Now, how to change the past indefinite or past simple? It's quite easy to remember that all the present tenses would be changed into the past tenses. Now, let's focus at the past indefinite or past simple tense. This tense is changed to the past perfect tense, and the past continuous is changed to the past perfect continuous. Future will be changed into the past form, like will would be changed into would. Modal verbs would be changed into their past forms. As far as the past perfect and past perfect continuous tenses are concerned, they are not changed in the reported speech. Now let's understand the rule of this backshifting of tenses through these examples. She said, Natasha wants to become a doctor. The indirect speech of this sentence is, she said that Natasha wanted to become a doctor. So the present simple or present indefinite tense is changed into the past indefinite or past simple. The next example is, I said to Dad, Bunty is playing in the park with Kirti. The indirect speech of this sentence is, I told Dad that Bunty was playing in the park with Kirti. So the present continuous is changed into the past continuous. So the present tenses are changed into their corresponding past tenses. So we have some more examples of each of the tenses. So dear students, यहाँ आप वीडियो पॉज करके सभी sentences को note down करें so that you can revise it later on. As this chart and these examples are really very useful for you. So it's quite easy to remember that all the present tenses would be changed into their corresponding past tenses. But there is an exception. The simple past or past continuous tense in time clauses do not generally change. The main verb may either remain unchanged or may become the past perfect. Let's have a look on this example. He said, when we lived or were living in Delhi, we often traveled by the metro. The indirect speech of this sentence is, he said that when they lived or were living in Delhi, they often traveled by the metro. Dear students, the present simple tense stating a general truth does not change in the reported speech. For example, the teacher said, Asia is the biggest continent. The indirect speech is, the teacher said that Asia is the biggest continent. इस एग्जाम्पल में रिपोर्टेड स्पीच में एक जनरल ट्रुथ एक्सप्रेस किया गया है. रिपोर्टिंग वर्ब पास्ट टेंस में एक्सप्रेस होने के बावजूद भी रिपोर्टेड स्पीच का प्रेजेंट टेंस पास्ट टेंस में चेंज नहीं किया गया. In the same way, the simple past stating a past historical event remains unchanged. For example, the teacher said the Quit India movement was launched by Mahatma Gandhi. The indirect speech of this sentence is, the teacher said that the Quit India movement was launched by Mahatma Gandhi. According to the rules, generally, reported speech का past indefinite और past simple indirect speech में change करने पर past perfect tense में change हो जाता है. परंतु यहाँ आपने notice किया कि हमने past simple tense को past simple tense में ही express किया. यहाँ कोई change नहीं हुआ क्योंकि यहाँ एक past historical event के बारे में बताया जा रहा है. So, the rule of backshifting of tenses and its exceptions. ये सभी डिटेल में समझने के बाद, now the next and the final rule for the conversion is the change in words and expressions of time and place. इस रूल के अकॉर्डिंग जो भी वर्ड्स और एक्सप्रेशंस टाइम एंड प्लेस की नियरनेस को शो करते हैं, इनडायरेक्ट स्पीच में इन्हें चेंज कर दिया जाता है क्योंकि यह बात अब बीते हुए समय की हो चुकी है, इसलिए वर्ड्स और एक्सप्रेशंस जो डिस्टेंस शो करते हैं उनसे इन्हें रिप्लेस कर दिया जाता है. Here are some important word changes. You can pause the video here and please note down the words like now becomes then, today or tonight becomes that day or that night, yesterday becomes the previous day or the day before, and so on. The reason behind this change I have already told you in the previous part of the lesson. However, let me tell you quickly here. We do backshift the tense and we do change the time and place expressions if there are any in the direct speech because time has passed between the moment of speaking and the time of the report. So we do change tenses and time and place expressions with some exceptions. So let's quickly revise all the steps and rules for the conversion of the direct into indirect speech that we have studied in these two lessons in detail. The first step is identification and changing of the reporting verb as per the requirement. The second step is replacing the comma with the conjunction word that and removal of the quotation marks. The third one is change in pronouns. And the fourth step is the backshifting of tenses, that is changes in tenses as per the chart. But while applying this rule, you should keep in your mind the exceptions that we discussed. And the final step is change in the words or expressions that show the nearness in time and place. So I hope everything is crystal clear. But still, if you have any kind of doubt or query, you can ask in the comment section.